Welcome back to the show. Lead story, not just in sports, but really in the country, particularly last night. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin. You saw it playing the Bengals last night. He made a tackle of T. Higgins. He got back up. He collapsed. We know now suffered cardiac arrest, taken to a Cincinnati hospital where he remains in critical condition. And we will give you any kind of updates. We get any new information we get, we will present it to you. Right now, I told you before we went to the break, we're going to bring in more smart people to talk to on Brother from Another, making her Brother from Another debut. This is exciting. You got Reeta Hubbard here. Reeta, thank you for joining the show. How you doing today? Happy New Year, all that good stuff.
Happy New Year. I'm doing great despite, the things that we seen last night, but thank you for having me.
Of course. And heard Jim weigh in on this. We talked with Mike Florio earlier, just their initial thoughts. I'm wondering what you thought when you saw it and any additional thoughts you've had since that scary moment last night.
So first of all, of course, I want to express my condolences and pray that Hamlin has a full recovery because what we saw last night was very scary. And anytime you hear the word CPR and AED, I'm not a medical expert, but I know what those things mean. And I know what is a result of those things. So immediately, it went from, I just thought that maybe he had some wind knocked out of him or something like that to, wow, this is really serious. And when you start looking at the reaction of the guys, on the field, the Bills, and, how they were crying, you knew it was a really serious matter. And so, I had a lot of feelings because, you keep hearing Joe Buck saying something about the 5 minutes. And, allegedly people that were at the game said that they said it over the loudspeaker. And look, I understand that was probably a protocol situation, but it really looked bad in the moment because this clearly was not a normal injury. And then when you find out later, that he did go to cardiac arrest, you have to, it just really was crazy how the whole sequence of events happened. I'm glad that the coaches stepped in for their players and said they can't go on and do this game because it would have done a disservice to everybody there, the fans, the people, us watching. How would we have been able to move on and watch a football game after we watched what we saw? So I'm really glad that the players and the coaches stood together and said, we are riding for our brother. That's the only thing that we're concerned about right now. And that the league, eventually did the right thing, which was cancel that game.
Reeta, when you see something like this, does it at all change the way you watch the game or think of the game?
There's so many examples. It's just another example. You know what I mean? It's just another example of how, you love a game so much, but then there's just so many things about it that just makes you wonder, what is it about this game that you love so much? We know how dangerous football is. And so for whatever reason, we love it. And this isn't even the first example. A lot of us saw what happened to Ryan Shazier, who also gave his condolences online. We've seen numerous, head injuries, numerous regular injuries. And we're so, we're equipped to just move on. And I don't know how we've gotten to that point, but, that's just something that we've been able to do. So it's really just been something that I've always felt. But then last night really just once again put it into perspective of what is it that we love so much about this game that we're able to continue to watch this after everything that we've seen. And it's really a good question to have that I don't have the answer for myself at this moment.
It's a great question. It's a great question. And Jim, I think we've talked about it before from a different, we were in a different room having a conversation because we were talking about the league and social justice and how we're like, wait a minute, they say all these things, it takes all of us, yet there's some hypocrisy, there are some inconsistencies, your actions aren't matching up with your words and your phrases. Why do we still continue to support the game? And we said, hey, we love it, we love the athleticism, we love the stories, we love the passion of the athletes. Is that it? Maybe it's even after something like this, guys will say, well, this is what I wanted to do since I was 6 or 7 years old, and I'll continue to do it, and we're inspired by their love for the game? Is it the entertainment of it? Jim, what do you think it is? Because I really don't know. It's a great question.
Well, there are a number of different layers to that question, I think, and a number of different reasons why we love the game. We love the camaraderie. We love the competition. We love the fact that we can go out as kids and play it and then try and apply what we do to what we see the elite of the elite do, all those sorts of things. And then, and look, sports is tribal, as you know, it brings communities together many times in ways that other things can't. So there are a lot of layers to it. The reason I ask that question in part is, will it change the way that people look at these athletes? Because too often, as I said earlier, we view them as commodities. They're here to entertain us. We don't think about them as human beings. Go back to the college football game over the weekend. Your Ohio State kicker missed, and I'm sorry to bring that pain up to you, Michael, but he misses a field goal, and what do people do? All of a sudden, he's got threats online and this, that, and the other.
And that's outrageous. And it's just outrageous. Yep. It's so sad. It's so pathetic.
And so to add to more to the, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to add to that as well, apparently Caleb Williams didn't go to the podium, and I just so happened to go into this tweet about it, and the reaction that I saw from people about a college kid, all because he retweeted something about Max Duggan with an LOL. I mean, look, whether you consider his tweet to be right or wrong, he's still a college kid. He doesn't require the type of response that you give to him. They were calling him everything but a child of God. And these are adults. And that's the part that I just don't understand. We love the game. We love what comes with it, but the intangibles and the other things that come with it are the things that we don't love. And I think it overrides, the love that we have for the actual sport overrides the other things. But you do have to wonder, how long is that going to go into play? Because to answer your question, Jim, no, I don't think that what happened last night will generally humanize these players. I think it's a case-by-case situation, and that because of what that transpired to be, we humanize that young man. I don't see that necessarily being the case for how we look at injuries and how we look at players overall, if they screw up or if they get injured moving forward, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a great point, Reeta. I agree with you. And it is, and as you said, case by case. The response to Damar Hamlin has been tremendous, from the toy drive to people reaching out to the game, the players and coaches saying, nope, we're not doing this. We're done. And this is a guy, I'm sure if you're a University of Pittsburgh fan, if you're a Western Pennsylvanian, you've heard that name before. But a lot of us, and a Bills fan, obviously, but a lot of us never heard of Damar. He's just in his second year in the league. This is his first really breakout season. A lot of us didn't know him before last night, and yet the response has really been lovely. I want to ask you this, Reeta. This weekend, supposedly, unless something changes, it's going to be a Ravens-Bengals game for the AFC North. The eyes of the league going to be on the Ravens in Cincinnati again. Second week in a row. Cincinnati last night, Cincinnati and the Ravens on Sunday. What do you think that atmosphere will be like, based on what you know about Ravens fans and the passion for this team? What do you think that response is going to be like?
I mean, it's in Cincinnati, so the response is going to be great there. But if you're asking me the temperature of the Ravens flock fan base, it is not one of that is very good right now. It's very cold over here because Tyler Huntley has played, the last 4.5 weeks. So the Ravens offensively are nothing without Lamar Jackson, quite frankly. And if Lamar does not play on Sunday, then the trend will continue. I looked up the stats, and in the last 4 games, they scored 3 offensive touchdowns, 3. So they've been scoring off of field goals. And, this NBC also brought up the fact of when Lamar plays, they average 28 points per game, but when he doesn't play, they average 18, and that's par for the course what they have right now. They're not well equipped on offense from a skilled player position outside of Mark Andrews and the running backs. Their defense, you're asking them to do too much because you can't score offensive points. So over here, it's gloom and doom. Now, with the
but Reeta, to the point of what we are talking about today, Lamar has been out, and I wonder, these players, or the public who views athletes as there for their entertainment, have you seen any change in how they view Lamar and the fact that he has missed these recent games?
Post Hamlin, or just generally?
No. Just generally.
So, it's funny because
let me if I could, let me give you this as background.
Okay.
So unsolicited, I had a player stop me over the weekend and say, Lamar is not coming back this year. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, if he has a PCL injury, as they say, and if it's a grade 2 sprain, he said, I suffered a grade 2 sprain in week 1. And he said, I'm still not right. And the only reason I came back this weekend is because we had a shot at the playoffs and I wanted to try as best I could to be there for my team.
Yeah.
So that's the context of me asking that question to you.
Wow.
Is that if that is the injury Lamar has, this player is telling me I have the exact same thing and I'm still not right 16 weeks later.
Yeah. And the thing that bothers me the most is that you have different people inputting their opinions about the situation, because you have a lot of people that are saying Lamar is quiet quitting and he's not playing because he doesn't have a new deal and all of these things. And, I wouldn't play if I were him. And then you have people who are saying, Lamar, he can't be asking for all of this money. This is the second year in a row that he's not played down a stretch. And, he's not, because there were some rumors swirling around that got debunked, but there was rumors going around that he wasn't showing up for his treatments and things. But, ultimately, I think this is so disrespectful. Why do you think that Lamar Jackson, a guy who has never shown you anything less of being a competitor, would do any of those things willingly? And the Ravens are in the playoffs. As good or bad as they look, they're in the playoffs. It's nothing they can do about it. For 1 second, why do you think that Lamar Jackson would not want to be out there with his teammates to try to win a Super Bowl? If anything, that increases his stock in order to get a new contract for more guaranteed money in which he's asking for. So I don't know why people have come up with these weird, suggestions about what it is that Lamar is doing. I agree. I think that he's not healthy. And that's where we are. I think it's nothing more, nothing less. But for whatever reason, well, it's not for whatever reason, he doesn't have a new contract, and we know that. And it's very possible he's going to be tagged this offseason. We're creating these scenarios that, try to make sense of all of this instead of just saying, okay, he's hurt and he can't play. It's that simple to me,
Well, I'm going to tell you, Reeta, you have made a lot of sense. You have made a lot of sense in your Brother from Another debut. This is the first appearance of many. Great job. We love hearing from you. And look, just come on by. Come on by.
Okay.
Like we say to everybody, just swing by. Hey, I'm in the neighborhood. Swing on by.
You can't tell me stuff like that because I am the person that will pop up.
Okay, well, come on, pop up then.
Thanks, Reeta.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.